Hello, everyone. Welcome to my TED Talk. I'm Charles White, and today I want to share a real workplace situation where I applied negotiation concepts from getting to yes. This wasn't a formal negotiation or a high stakes deal. It was a normal conversation with my boss. And this experience showed me how even small workplace requests can become opportunities for collaboration when they're handled thoughtfully. The situation started with a simple request. My boss asked me to begin submitting bi-weekly work summaries. At first, it sounded reasonable, but as I thought more about it, I realized it would significantly affect my workload and efficiency. That's when I recognized this wasn't just a task, it was a negotiation. What made this situation challenging was the power dynamic. She's my supervisor and I report to her. I didn't have a strong bat now. If she wanted biweekly work summaries, she could have required them. This meant that this conversation wasn't about pushing back. It was about using principled, interest-based negotiation to influence the outcome while maintaining the working relationship. Getting to yes focuses on principled, interest-based negotiation, which means solving problems collaboratively rather than arguing positions. The authors emphasize separating the people from the problem, focusing on interests instead of positions, and using objective criteria to reach fair outcomes. One of the most important principles from getting to yes is separating the people from the problem. I wasn't frustrated with my boss as a person. I treated this as a workflow issue, and that helped keep the conversation respectful and collaborative rather than defensive. Her position was a request for bi-weekly work summaries. When I focused on interests instead of positions, it became clear she wanted visibility into progress, accountability, and confidence in my updates to executive leadership. My interests were efficiency, reduced repetition, and higher quality reporting. Once those interests were clear, the conflict became much easier to solve. So rather than relying on opinion, I used objective criteria. Earlier in the year, our team completed lean management training at her direction. Lean emphasizes eliminating waste and focusing on value-added work. Using a shared framework helped keep the conversation objective and strengthen the credibility of my proposal. And that lean training introduced tools like plan, do, study, adjust, and the A3 method, which focuses on clearly defining problems and evaluating solutions. I learned in the class that lean management is the least wasteful way we know how to do something today. Lean emphasizes reviewing completed work and measurable outcomes. I explained that monthly summaries would allow me to report on what had actually been completed rather than every 2 weeks reporting on work that was still in progress. So in getting to yes, the authors emphasize inventing options for mutual gain. And once we focused on interest instead of positions, monthly reporting became a solution that worked for both of us. This was a clear win-win outcome. Leadership, senior leadership specifically, continued to receive clear, structured updates, and the reports became more meaningful because they focused on completed work rather than updating on partial progress. At the same time, unnecessary repetition was reduced, and I was able to spend more time executing meaningful work. This experience reinforced that successful negotiation is not about winning or losing. It's about problem solving. And by focusing on interest, separating people from the problem, and using objective criteria, I was able to reach a win-win outcome despite the power imbalance. Getting to yes provided me a practical framework for navigating everyday workplace negotiations, and it has completely changed how I approach conflict at work. Thank you, and this concludes my TED Talk.